Hey everyone, this is Megan
and Darla. We are your hosts of the Enlighten Benefits podcast.
Our goal is to help you understand all things insurance. In each episode, we will tackle the confusing topics and terminology as it relates to insurance.
We want to create confidence over confusion and make insurance suck less.
We hope you enjoy our show. Hey Darla.
Hey Megan.
Hey, since we had so many more questions around Bryce Malloy and dental and vision, I thought it would be a good idea for us to have him back on and finish our conversation.
Great idea, because I always love talking to Bryce Malloy.
I always love being here. On air or off air, you guys are a riot.
Hey, Bryce, would you reintroduce yourself to those who didn't catch our first episode with you?
Yep. My name is Bryce. I am a carrier rep, so I work for an insurance company, and I specialize in the under 100 market segment, so smaller businesses, but I do this day in and day out.
Talk to great insurance people like us.
Yep, exactly.
So our goal is to break down some terminology so that our general listener can understand dental and vision insurance today. The last time that we spoke with you, we talked pretty high level about some dental options for our clients, helping them understand in-network. One thing we didn't get to that I really wanted to ask you, let's just say that I go to my dentist and for whatever reason, they say, no, I'm sorry, we don't accept Unum insurance, right? Unum dental insurance. Should I just turn around and walk out then? Because then I'm afraid I'm going to have to pay this large bill. Or do I have out-of-network benefits? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So there's really two big buckets for how a dental plan works.
Okay.
The first one's going to be a PPO, which most people are familiar with that from medical. And it's a participating provider organization. So it's basically a carrier will go out and recruit dentists to be in their network. So those dentists have agreed to a set fee schedule for what they'll reimburse for each covered procedure.
Okay.
The alternative is a MAC plan, a maximum allowable charge. And basically how that works is Unum, or whoever the carrier is only going to pay based on those negotiated fees. And the primary difference is going to be that with a PPO plan, you can really go in or out of network. Because it reimburses at the UCR, which stands for usual, customary, and reasonable. And just to break that down a little bit, basically how that works is it's based on the geography. So if an employee goes into an out-of-network dentist, each carrier has these UCR codes that they'll look at what all the dentists in that general region charge for that covered procedure and reimbursed most standardly at what 9 out of 10 of those dentists would charge. So that's going to be a 90th UCR. So we'll go, hey, in 75204 zip code, which is where I live. 9 out of 10 dentists charge this amount. This is what we're going to reimburse you for your out-of-network claim.
Okay. So then in that situation, let me rephrase this. Yeah. So if I use that scenario that I said earlier, I walk in and I'm like, hey, I just, I work for ABC company down the street, and my company has, Unum dental insurance. And they say, I'm sorry, we don't accept Unum dental. If I have that PPO plan, Unum dental PPO plan, I don't need to walk out. I can still use my dentist, and basically their reimbursement, for that dentist is going to be no less than if I was in network. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah. So there is a chance for balance billing. Okay. Unless you're going to the top 10, the number one most expensive dentist in that region, likely you're not going to have any additional balance billing. Okay. It's important to note that you're still responsible for that coinsurance amount. Okay. So you're going to have an out-of-pocket costs, but there's not going to be additional fees on top of that. Okay. And just something to note is every dentist will take every carrier. They're going to not turn down money, but the amount that you're going to be responsible for and pay out of pocket varies based on whether or not that dentist is in or out of network.
And I think a good idea here would be to say, if you receive a bill from the dentist's office after you've had your services done and you did not do the predetermination, but if you receive a bill before I paid that bill, I would call Unum, I would call the doctor. I would just try to see if I could get all of that stuff straight if it was out of network. Before I paid the bill, I'm just saying I would really investigate what happened there
100%.
To have them explain that to you. Yes. So it's hard. We have a lot of people that will just pay their bill and then it's really hard to get a refund. So
yeah, next to impossible. I mean, once that money's in their pocket, it's hard to go back and recollect it. So I think that just general rule of thumb, probably over communicate that. That's why a lot of these companies hire people like y'all to help them out with that. But get all your information on the front end, because dental work is oftentimes not cheap.
Right.
And so if you can do your due diligence on the front end, especially if you're having a major surgery or, even getting your wisdom teeth pulled or something that's pretty common, you can save yourself a lot of time and energy and money just by doing those extra couple steps, and make sure that you're actually being covered for something and that your insurance company does cover that through your contract.
yes, always go through your broker and have them guide you. And hopefully your broker is Enlighten Benefits.
We will enlighten you on your benefits.
Yes.
Help you through the process. I think it's also worth, we talked on the last episode, we talked about that predetermination. And I think that's just worth restating and how important that is, maybe for those who did not catch that earlier episode. That predetermination letter, which is really going to save everyone's heartache, headache, and pocketbook, right? Just
Totally.
to have that conversation with your physician, your dentist, make sure that what you're needing or what they're suggesting is indeed going to be covered by the insurance company. And then, as a consumer, what your out of pocket's going to be. That way everyone's happy, no one's mad, and you get the dental work done that you need.
Totally.
Yeah.
And some carriers will offer alternative, solutions for whatever they're looking at to say, hey, there might be some cost savings if you do it this route, or, it's not always the most cost-effective way what is recommended, if that makes sense. So a lot of these companies do have retired dentists that act as consultants. So once you send in that predetermination, it'll be given to someone that knows what they're talking about. And they can kind of look through it and say, hey, based on this, this might be a better alternative for a cost saving standpoint.
Oh,
or whatever
good point.
Okay, sure. And I think it's also worth mentioning that it's everyone's opinion, right? So you're getting the opinion of a retired dentist. You're getting the opinion of your current dentist.
Totally.
We're getting a lot of different opinions here. And
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean that they're wrong or this other one is wrong. It just means that's your opinion. Right. We all do things a little bit differently. Anything else we need to mention about dental insurance? Or we want to move along and talk about something else?
Absolutely. Let's talk about somebody else.
Somebody else?
Well, no, we better say something else.
Okay, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about vision insurance.
All right.
Bryce, we'll kind of switch gears on you. That's another one of your specialty areas. I don't see vision insurance as being as popular, maybe, or as used as dental insurance. What's your opinion on that?
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
It's definitely important, but it's definitely something we get a lot less noise around.
Sure.
It's a fraction of the cost of dental. So standardly, you're going to pay $5 to $7, maybe $9 a month for that versus the 30, 40, 50 for your dental.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of people kind of overlook that one, I feel like, but it's oftentimes provided by your company.
Well, and you're right. And I've heard other people say, I do go have my eyes checked every few years. Mm-hmm. But for that reason, I find, this is the person saying this, right? The consumer, that I find it's just cheaper for me to just pay out of pocket just to get that, eye exam every few years just to make sure that,
Totally.
yeah. And I guess it's kind of like if you don't wear glasses, you don't have contacts, you don't have a need for it, maybe it's an insurance that you can forego.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess that's one of the primary points, right? Is don't buy something you don't need.
Right.
And again, that's why there's consultants and brokers like y'all to kind of point people in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, if you have 20/20 vision and you don't need contacts or glasses, you probably don't need those frequencies, those checkups, those frame allowances. You're just paying out of pocket for something you're not going to utilize. Mm-hmm. So again, it comes down to being educated and asking questions around what your specific needs are and buying benefits that are going to benefit you.
So what does vision insurance usually cover? Is it going to cover, my eye exams? Is it going to cover me to get a new pair of, Oakley sunglasses every year? Like, what's covered in vision insurance?
Yeah. So, I mean, there are copays just like any other dental medical. It's usually $10 for exams, $25 for materials. But it's going to basically cover, you're going to have a contact allowance, a lens allowance, a frame allowance, and an exam allowance essentially. So most often than not, you'll have an exam every 12 months.
Okay.
You'll get you'll get lenses every 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that really varies is the frame allowance. So you'll standardly see a 24 months. So you get new frames every 2 years. And then there's an allowance associated with that. So you get frames every 1 or 2 years up to a max of, let's say, $150.
Okay.
So
pause there real quick. So that means if I pick out, I'm at Eyes of America, and I've totally made that up. If I'm at Eyes of America and I have my exam done and I'm like, oh, I really want those tortoiseshell frames, but they're $300. So you're saying that my vision insurance will pay $150 of that, and then I have to pay the other $150 of that?
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then standardly, I can't speak to every contract, but
sure.
There's a separate contact allowance than there is for glasses. So if you have medically necessary contacts, right? Like glasses aren't going to work for you. You need to have those contacts. Standardly, those are fully covered. Oftentimes I see a $210 elective contact allowance. So that's going to be slightly higher than the frames.
Okay.
I have to imagine because contacts are probably cheaper to produce than hard glasses, but I do feel like there's probably a migration towards more contacts. I feel like people are starting to use contacts more and more. But if you use your glasses and you love your glasses, there's no need for you to not have that insurance, right? It's going to save you money in the long run.
Gotcha.
Especially if you're hard on them. I mean, I go through probably 3 pairs of sunglasses a year. I don't wear glasses, but if I did, I'd lose those things all the time. So,
right. Or squash them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's also important for us. We actually have one of our groups that is an optometrist. And so I think, it's very important too, to make sure that you stay up on, if you do use your glasses, I think it's very important for you to get those routine exams just to make sure that the prescription that you have is still working for you.
Totally.
Right? Because your eyes, just like your teeth, they can change every single year. So I think it's really important that if you've got that insurance policy, you might as well use it.
Totally.
Right? So make sure that we are, again, I'm no eye specialist. I'm just suggesting that if you've got that benefit, you might as well go get your free eye exam or your $10 eye exam every year to make sure that the product that you're using and that you're putting on your eyes is what's best for you.
And I would like to add or ask a question, like when we were talking about contact lenses, and I think everyone should know this, but just to be sure, if anybody wanted to get contact lenses to make their eyes a beautiful blue color or they make those weird ones that make you look like a serpent or
cats,
yes,
like a kitty cat.
Yep. Yes. So all of these new eye things that they're doing, that's not going to be covered on vision insurance.
I have never seen that, and I would imagine not. I mean, unless it's prescription.
It's got to be medically necessary.
Correct.
Bryce, you've never seen?
Oh, I've seen them.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen someone go to use their insurance and say, "Hey, can I get some blue eyes?"
Okay, I'm sure it happens every day.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Hey, I would give it a try. I mean,
sure.
Go ahead and ask them.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
especially with the prescription.
Now, does LASIK eye surgery, is that typically covered under your standard vision insurance or no?
So it's really gonna vary. More commonly it is becoming. But oftentimes, I think right now in the marketplace, you're standardly going to see a discount.
Okay.
So I think most commonly I've seen like a 20% LASIK discount. It's not going to be a fully covered procedure because oftentimes it's elective. Like you don't need to get LASIK if you have glasses. So if you are someone that elects to have LASIK, you can get an in-network discount for that procedure.
I think that another thing I've seen is if you do, let's go back to my example of those $300 tortoiseshell frames that I really liked. Just because, the list price is $300 and I said, my vision insurance is going to cover $150, maybe the other $150, I may not have to pay the full amount because typically with our insurance, we get like an extra 20 or 30 or, certain percentage off, correct?
Totally. Yeah.
So it does behoove you to have that insurance just even for some additional discounts.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people have astigmatism or things that cause their eyes to continually decrease. So
yes,
it's not beneficial to have glasses that don't fit your prescription, right? So if you do need to keep updating those, it's especially if you're spending $7 a month on something that's going to cost you a couple $100s to get updated.
Yes.
Right. So if you go to if you get one eye exam, it covers your premium for an entire month. So
exactly.
It's very cost effective, especially if you're someone that uses glasses or, has sight issues.
What about, would it be a smart idea for me to get vision insurance if I just want to buy sunglasses?
Probably not.
Okay.
Nope.